hear it before it makes a sound.
The 2000s was one of the best times to be a Marvel fan, with a plethora of comic book projects really ramping up production within Hollywood, leading to Bryan Singer's X-Men, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, and Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. However, comic book projects on TV were also going through their own explosion of content as creatives became more bold and inventive with how they approached their straight-to-DVD projects and cartoons. In 2008, The Spectacular Spider-Man began airing on the Kids WB, and it was by far one of the most popular superhero TV shows of all time. This was due to many factors, including its top-notch animation, brilliant character writing, or just the gripping narrative that kept viewers coming back every Saturday morning.
Oh, I got the thing on the thing! What do I win?
You!
I win me? That makes no sense.
The Spectacular Spider-Man gained so much popularity, in fact, that it spawned a total of 2 seasons with 26 total episodes. Now, in the grand scheme of things, 26 episodes doesn't seem like a lot. In fact, the series producer Greg Weisman had grand plans on how to continue the series after season 2. Originally, Weisman had planned for 3 additional seasons, bringing the total to 5 seasons with 65 episodes. There was also a plan to release 3 DVD films to be released in between each subsequent season, and a series of direct-to-DVD movies exploring Peter's college years leading up to his marriage with Mary Jane Watson. These ambitious plans reflected Greg Weisman's vision for an expansive Spider-Man animated universe, with later seasons introducing characters like Mr. Negative, the Jackal, Morbius, the Sin Eater, and many more. Weisman also envisioned a spin-off series featuring characters like Hobie Brown, Felicia Hardy, and Flint Marko. These additional characters would extend beyond the Spider-Man universe to include broader Marvel Universe characters as well. Weisman hoped that before season 3 or 4, Marvel Entertainment would grant them licenses for several Marvel characters. The goal was to include these characters in cameos within different episodes. These characters would not be limited to indirect Easter eggs, as Weisman hoped for team-up episodes as well, especially with characters like the Human Torch. However, these cameo appearances were intended to be one-off team-ups or mentions. The intention was not to turn Spectacular Spider-Man into a team-up series, similar to Batman, the Brave and the Bold, or the later seasons of the Batman TV series. Interestingly, according to Greg Weisman, the status quo of his Marvel universe differed from the familiar one. At this point in time, Spider-Man was one of the few major active heroes around. The Fantastic Four were also active, but dealing with larger scale threats. Ant-Man kept a low profile. Tony Stark was still a businessman, yet to become Iron Man. Thor was still wandering the earth and had yet to reclaim his hammer. Captain America was still frozen in ice, and the Incredible Hulk was an urban legend wandering around the American Southwest. Mutants existed, but the X-Men had yet to form, as Professor X had just opened his school with only Cyclops and the Beast as students. Although we don't know for sure how these Marvel characters' existence would have affected the Spectacular Spider-Man story. An interesting detail from Weisman is that Peter Parker's decision to become a superhero would have been partly inspired by Captain America, whose memorabilia Uncle Ben kept in his attic. Ultimately, the whole point of having those cameo appearances from these heroes was so they could eventually spin off and receive their own shows. The Human Torch would become a part of a Fantastic Four series. Professor X and his new school would lead to an X-Men show of some kind. And in terms of Ant-Man, Captain America, Hulk, and Iron Man, perhaps their cameos would eventually lead to their own Avengers project. However, there was 2 small issues with these plans, which wouldn't become apparent until the latter half of the 2000s.
Our world's about to break, tormented and upset, lost when we wake, with no way to go back.
In October of 2008, Marvel Animation announced Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which would begin airing in 2010. Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes was a series that documented how the team came together, collaborating to face many threats in the Marvel universe. The series was special at the time for many reasons, besides the fact that it was one of the few series that majorly adapted the Avengers. Earth's Mightiest Heroes was surprisingly much more expansive with its universe than expected, exploring parts of the Marvel mythos that many mainstream audiences would not know about. It's also a benefit that the series had top-notch character writing, an engrossing plot, and great animation, which put the series on par with some of the best superhero team-up series. So with a series this great, it really puts into question if Greg Weisman's goal of establishing a wider Marvel universe was even possible at this point. It's unknown if Weisman's Marvel universe would have ever kicked off. There's absolutely no indication that Weisman would have ever been allowed to have these other Marvel characters pop up to begin with. If they did pop up, we can't say for sure if they would have led to individual spin-offs either. However, Weisman's wish for Spider-Man to appear in the wider Marvel universe did have a chance of coming into fruition.
Should we have name tags? Well, I'm Spider-Man, and this is my trusty sidekick, Wolverine.
Don't push it, webhead.
According to the Avengers series writer Christopher Yost, the spectacular Spider-Man was meant to appear in Earth's Mightiest Heroes. In fact, Josh Keaton and many other cast members from the spectacular Spider-Man recorded lines for the series. Unfortunately, when the episode Spider-Man appeared in finally aired, it was revealed that Josh Keaton's voice was dubbed over and replaced by Drake Bell, the former star of Drake and Josh and the famous Mexican singer. This was of course very confusing, but it's clear that Disney are the ones that interfered with the choice of voice, as Drake Bell would later go on to voice Spider-Man in Ultimate Spider-Man. This sudden change was also likely due to legal reasons, as Sony owns the rights to the spectacular Spider-Man, so having this version appear in a series that was owned by Disney would be a huge problem. Interestingly, Greg Weisman has denied that Spectacular Spider-Man was ever in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, stating that his Spider-Man would have been a part of his own distinct Marvel universe, completely disconnected from the Avengers show. So clearly, Yost and Weisman weren't exactly in communication with each other when it came to this creative choice.